Hello, welcome. And today we're gonna talk about the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics, and then this area which is called Shougang. It's like it's like capital steel, and then because the Olympics was hosted here, and then it also helps that the weather is very industrial, sort of looking. And this is the Shougang Bridge. It basically is a bridge, but the stylized is quite a stylized one. Yeah, capital steel is the direct translation, sort of. And this is where the sort of the company area is, because now it's been renovated to it's like people can still, like, they can relax here, and then so half of it is like it's like a park, it's like Disneyland sort of thing, and then the half of it is it's more related to the company. So this is the company complex, and then you can see it is written as like this is at Capital Steel Corporation, and then this is the main sort of company area here. And this is the it's the same company as like Capital Steel, and this is the holdings, as in like stocks holdings. Okay, I'm gonna pause right here, and then some background about the Shougang is like the Capital Steel sort of corporation, is that it is referred to as the Shougang Group, or Shougang, and it is a super large enterprise group mainly engaged in steel production, and then also operating in mining machinery, electronics, construction, real estate, and then service industries, and then many more. So it encompasses a ton of things. And then so on January 13, 2011, the steel production in Beijing, Shijingshan, which is the complex we're seeing right now, was awarded the meritorious Shougang commemorative plaque. And then the production at that day, the production was suspended for this complex. And then for the two sort of these mascots for the Olympics, and then so originally they intended for this panda to be a more or like children oriented mascot, and this is a more adult oriented mascot, but everyone likes this mascot, so they eventually changed it into sort of the overall mascot for the entire Olympics. And then so this is the mascot of the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics, and then it's called Bing Dun Dun, which is like it's like an ice little it's like a stub of ice, I think. And then it combines the image of a panda with a super energy ice crystal shell. And then the shape of the head shell is inspired by a snow sports helmet, and decorated with a colorful halo. So the overall image resembles an astronaut. This is what the Chinese, like, Baidu says, but I don't know. The Chinese Google says. And then this is called 雪融融, which is like the snow sort of melting, and then it symbolizes the ice and the snow sort of they're converging into sort of one single thing. It's like the unity sort of And then so the Shougang Park is the country's first batch of pilot projects in the transformation of old industrial areas in urban districts, and then the National Comprehensive Pilot Area for Service Industry Reform, and the National Sustainable Development Experimental Zone. And so now it's because it is a large plot of land, and then so they test some things like it's like self-driving cars, and then all of that stuff here. And they also, yes, sort of they transformed a place that is abandoned into something like a like Disneyland. But this is different from the situation in, for example, like Hong Kong, where in Hong Kong is like everything, if it's wasted, and then they have to transform it into something new because every plot of land is like gold. But in Beijing, they did it because I think it's for the general urban outlook, because it would look bad if a ton of abandoned things are just around everywhere. That's a cool representation of the purpose of the Olympics. Yes, I agree. And then so it is the first C40 positive climate demonstration area in China, and these are just facts. And then the official move-in of the Beijing Winter Olympics organizing committee in 2016 was a milestone event in the development of Shougang Park. And so over the past 6 years, with Olympic projects breaking ground for urban renewal, and yeah, so this is sort of an urban renewal thing, and by seizing the opportunity of the Winter Olympics, focusing on a cultural revival, industrial revival, ecological revival, and vitality revival. And I quote this from the government: "The white one is for normal winter events. The red one is." Oh, no, but I think they were sort of generally designed for. It's like this is a more adult oriented and a more child oriented. I think that's how it works. I don't know, maybe, but that makes sense because there's also a Paralympics. And so the carrying capacity of the infrastructure and the quality of the environment have been significantly improved. And so high-end elements have gathered at a faster pace, and the innovation vitality has begun to be released. And the construction of new landmarks of urban revival has achieved phased results with positive social responses. Okay. Urban revival property. Yes. Agree. And then so how the Olympics came to be, or like how it came here, and they decided for Beijing to host it instead of some other place, is that on November 3rd, 2013, the Chinese Olympic Committee officially sent a letter to the International Olympic Committee, IOC, better known as IOC. And so on July 31st of 2015, at the 128th IOC session held in Kuala Lumpur, which is the capital of Malaysia, Beijing won the right to host the games with 44 votes. And so after that, they just began to prepare everything, including the park. And then so how the sort of the Olympics in Beijing was organized is that they had 3 competition zones, which is Beijing, Yanqing, and Zhangjiakou, which is all in the neighboring province of. It's like the other 2 are in the neighboring province of Hebei, which is very near. It's like New Jersey and New York sort of thing. And then, so on the evening of February 4th, 2022, the opening ceremony of the 24th Winter Olympic Games was held in the National Stadium. And then, so the closing ceremony was held in February 20th of 2022. And so 91 countries and regions participated, and then with 1,578 male and 1,314 female athletes. And then, so including 7 major events, 15 sub-events, and 109 minor events. And then, so basically, this is said to be the cheapest ever Olympic Games because most of the hardware they can reuse, because they reuse the thing from the Bird's Nest sort of stadium from the 2008 like Olympics, and then they also renovated this, which is much cheaper than building something like from scratch. But I mean, people is contended because some say it's very cheap and some say it's like the most expensive ever, and they just lied about their sort of expenses. I don't know. And this is the sort of dome, or like where it's written, it's like Beijing Olympic Winter Park, and then the same in Chinese and English. And they also have these little sort of accents around the park to remind you that, yeah, this is an Olympics thing. Oh yeah, one thing to note is like this red thing here. It's read as fu, which is like good fortune or good luck, and then it's a auspicious thing. And then they also other than just hosting events, they also post this during the New Year, and then it's like around the walls and around the streets, and then so it says to give people good luck. And they also have these relics, which is not just like the taken from the sort of the original industrial stuff. They also have old trains, old excavators, and then all that to show around, because it's sort of it's a tribute to the past. And then it's like before it was this, and then now look, it is something more glamorous and then more futuristic. Oh look, it's the Golden Arches, and this is a very stylized McDonald's, and because there's a sort of rooftop, and then yeah. They also have I don't know if the Chinese it's like McDonald's collaborations are the same as the ones in the US, and then they also don't completely ignore the past. Yes, I think that's a very it's a good value to have, I think. And then they also have these collaborations with, this is a Japanese, I think Japanese, it's a Superman, it's like the Japanese version of Superman, I think. It's these people, it's like these are called Ultramen, and then they are, it's like super sort of tall, and then they are like sort of, it's like the sentries from X-Men, and then so they are gonna fight monsters, and then protect the world, and then so they have these collaborations, and then they're doing their battle stances. And then for this guy, he's doing something like a L like this, and then he could sort of shoot out light and then shoot out lasers, and then same with these two guys. And then there's also, I think this is Elmo's, I don't know. And this McDonald's is supposedly it's a green restaurant, which is like everything, the power, it all comes from like green sources. And it also talks about as like climate conservation, and then so I think it is I think it is through these sort of bikes, and then you just sort of pedal it, and then the electricity gets sent and then powers the store, the restaurant. But it's very hard to ride on this bike because of the look at the seat, and then when you ride it, you will just start sliding backwards, and it's a hazard. So yeah, and there's this little screen inside where it shows the emissions, and then how much is like net zero, and then what is outputted, what is inputted. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool that they let you contribute. And then power generators, yes. But I mean, it's more about the participation or the initiative than actually the results. I don't know. I think it has a good sort of, no matter how much power you pumped, I think it still adds a good look to it. And then you can see the the 5 rings on of the Olympics here, and there's also some there's like relics of old. Oh yeah, one thing to mention is that uh, this is not it's like industrial production fumes. It's just the clouds. It's like they fit very nicely here. It's like for some reason the clouds look like this, but this is not like industrial production. Building on top of the hill to the left. Oh no, I just realized I have a lot of repetitive shots here. You mean the tower? You mean this thing? It's like it's a to the left. Yeah, I think it's that one. But it's sort of is like a temple, and then they usually have this scattered around. Maybe it's a monastery or something, but I'm not sure about that. I could check though. I mean, next time I'll have a response. It's a fast shot. Yeah, I think it's a Buddhist. Yeah, I think it's a Buddhist thing. And they have this there's also art pieces sort of scattered around the park. And you can see the old sort of relics, the trains I was talking about. As like these are steam trains, and then yeah. It's like Minecraft, and this used to sort of haul the coal and then the mines, and then because this was a mining sort of place originally. Yeah, those are really cool. I mean, if they were like brand new, it would have looked I think it's like differently, because this is like it got the historic vibe, and then if it is brand new, it will have the sort of it just looks elegant. Yeah. And it says, oh wait, I think there's a close up of this. So it says the Shogang, which is this place, and then there's like the mountain mines of the Lu family. So it's a mine cart sort of thing. Okay, and this is a coffee shop renovated from a sort of as a dome. But I mean, especially this brand is called Pete's, and then they said they are like the sort of the ancestors or like the founding fathers of coffee. I mean, it's said to be very. It's like they said they have a large presence in the U.S. I don't know if that's true. My parents didn't have that. Okay, yes. pagoda on top of the hill, and the other temples dated back. Okay, thanks for the information. Okay, I'm glad it's actually from the US, because sometimes they make these sort of fake brands, and especially with the Russian things in China, is like they say that the sort of the contents, or like the things they sell, came straight from Russia, but it actually is just made in China. So I'm glad this is real. Okay, nice. Okay, I think I just disconnected there. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, so send something in chat if you can hear me now. I don't know. It says I disconnected. Hello. Okay, that's nice. And then okay, let's go. And so it says it's from 1966, I think. Yeah. Yeah, you can see that they still preserved some things, even though they blocked it off. But you can see they still preserved the ground they renovated, but the the factories and then all of that they preserved. You can see the slogan. It's like a coffee master since 1966. So yeah. And so this canteen is it seems like it's like originally I thought this was a place for the employees here to eat at, but actually it's just a restaurant, and then you'll see more of it later. But yeah, and then they preserved the back these sort of silos. Yeah. And they have these mosaics inside of the canteen. You can see some of the furnaces, and then some of the this is the bridge, and then so they combined every sort of significant thing from the park, and then they put it on this mosaic. And it's just like the first stream, they have these sort of ice creams for the specific area. They have the for example, one of these one of the more famous furnaces, and then they have other ones as well. Oh, and then that one, that is the sort of the ski jump thing. As like you go down here and then you fly up. Yeah, is that sort of event. And they have this chocolate, and then it's stylized to be something like it's like work tools, and then there's a hammer, and there's the wrench, and then some screws, and then but actually it's just chocolate, and then poured into a mold, and then it looks better than it tastes. That's my comment on it. Yeah, and then the parts are said to be, they can fit into each other. It's like, for example, the screw can fit into this gear sort of thing, and then so they can fit in. But actually, maybe fit in just a little bit, because if you keep going in, and then it will just start rubbing off the chocolate, and then it will be deformed, and then because you're sort of using power, and then your hand will actually melt the chocolate, so it gets really messy. So maybe just to fit a little bit, yeah. I just think it would be cool to include this in here. It's like they have these very pipes sort of a trash can. I think it's interesting. And then these sort of sewer covers they have there. It's like, I think it's pretty unique. It's like some of it's like they're repetitive ones, but there are many styles for different kinds of, like, for the same for the sewer cover. Yes, so this one is the more famous furnace. There's also other ones about the maybe Olympic stuff, and then there's also other furnaces, and then maybe the mountains, and then all that stuff. And this is inside the coffee shop. You can see they have these tubes of the coffee beans, and then of course this signature, and then the slogan, and then yeah. So they converted the dome into a sort of skylight thing, and then they made it sort of stylized, and then so it's actually a more sort of innovative way for lighting, because they have these sort of little lights, and then they have the big light sort of coming here, so it makes the sort of thing evenly lit. Yeah. Yeah, it is very pretty. I agree. And yeah, you can see they have the relics of the sort of old excavators here. Yeah, and then together for a shared future. That's the slogan for the Winter Olympics. And one thing funny is that the lighting, it changed from a soft light, a overcast day, to a very bright sort of sunny day. And then right now the sweat is like running down my eyes, so I'm trying to hold the camera and then also wipe my eyes because it's very hot outside, and they were hot and humid, so maybe a little wobbly here. Yeah, and they have these old trains, but the trains originally it was a sort of a park thing. A nice dedication. Lol. I think that I take that as a compliment. And then so the trains inside were originally it was a park, but it was closed that day when I went to film. So it's sad that we couldn't get to see the trains inside. Yeah, so that was the train park, and then it says the park was closed, and then so we cannot go in, and then it's very funny is that they put the train. This is a sort of car rental service beside the train. So, I mean, if you don't know, you may think that you could rent a train, but no, and then but that's kind of funny. And this is the big jump I was talking about. And then so it's like you start building up speed, and then right here, and then you start, it's like sort of a flying stance, and then it's like a glide and all the way down here. And but right now they're renovating it, and then so this was it's like you cannot access this. This is a platform they built after the Olympics, and then this is for a sort of more of a entertainment or like leisure purpose. And so it's a sort of, it's a hammock thing suspended on as like in the air, and then so it would be a transparent thing. I mean, it's safe, but they will make you feel it's very scary to get on it because of the height, and then especially if the bottom is like it's a net sort of thing. And you can see that they took the insides and then they made it to be sort of a half of a summer palace thing, because they added these stylized Chinese architecture, and then they made the general, it's like it's a lake, and then there's the bridge, and then all of these architecture gives it a summer palace kind of vibe. yeah, it is really pretty. And then so these look like little booths, and then so they it was a place for is it sort of it's a higher class sort of substitute for just a normal tree. And then because the tree gives you a shade, and then the shade is like, in China there are tons of sort of idioms about the it's like chilling and then going away from the heat in the shade. And so this is a more royal sort of form of it. Yeah, and then the Summer Palace was a park for the royal families only. Yes, at the time the royal families is like, especially in the Qing dynasty, which is like 1900s. Yeah, that time the royal family, or like the emperors and all that, they were sort of, they spent a lot of money catering to their own sort of desires. They built tons of places like the Forbidden City, and then the Summer Palace. And then there are two Summer Palaces. The first one was raided by the Eight Nation Alliance, including like I think Great Britain, France, and then other European countries. It was raided, and then they built the second one. But the second one is fine now, and it's open to all the. It's like it's a tourist destination now. The back of the machine we just saw almost looks like a building. Okay, that's interesting. Oh yeah, true. Because I mean, depends on how much you show. If you just show this back part, it may be a building from afar. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And so this is a more general view of the entire park from a sort of vantage point. And then the loudspeaker behind is like in the background. The background noise is warning everyone of the is like digital scamming. Is like, for example, someone calls you and then they tell you that it's like maybe someone you know or you love is injured, and then you need to give money to them because they are it's like that person, and then because they're currently it's like they're caring for that person you love, and then so these are scams that they may as like people exploit these things in China. I don't know about the US. I think the US, I watched a guy on YouTube. Is like they do these sort of bank accounts, and then as like, for example, they make a fake bank, and then it promises higher interest, and then they just take the money, and then so they tell you to put the money in the bank, and then but the bank, they actually is a fake bank, and then they just take your money away. So yeah. Okay, similar things in the U.S. I mean, it's a nice thing to know, but a bad thing to have. I mean, but thanks for the information. Okay, and this place, this is called 六工会. 六 is like 6 in Chinese, and the gong is like work, and the hui is like you gather everything together. So this is jointly developed by the Shougang Fund and then Tishman Speyer, which is an architect, and then or an architectural company. And so the core strategic positioning of creating a cross-border industrial headquarters community and building a new micro-vacation style lifestyle. It is committed to creating a new urban complex that gathers low-density, modern, creative office spaces, compound commercial areas, multifunctional activity centers, and green public spaces. And so the Liu Gonghui, this name, comes from the Book of Rites, and the Liu refers to the 6 plots of the project, and the Gong symbolizes the spirit of craftsmanship, and also implies people from different cities, industries, and backgrounds. And the Hui means gathering or convergence, signifying that sparks of creativity gather, collide, and ignite here, and the energy and passion of Shougang is reignited. The colors are very strong. Look very strong. That's interesting. I mean, the orange accents, the black accents, and then blues on it. Maybe I think maybe it's because of the color I'm filming in as well, because this is a high vibrance, high saturation preset. And you can see they took a wasted sort of Mercedes and then they made it into a Cybertron. No, a Autobot, or maybe Decepticon thing. Transformer, yes, that's the word. It's a nice use of something wasted. At a pizza place. You mean in the US? I mean, I think it's nice. Yeah, and it may be common around the world. I don't know. Okay, amazing. And so this is a sort of exhibit, and then you can see this character is hugging the furnace, and then yeah, it's a jet. It's pretty cute. Adds a sort of modern look to the as an artistic look and a modern look to the plaza. One thing funny is that you can see there's a ton of the art is very intriguing. Yes, you can see that there's 2 different styles. There's watercolor and then this is oil painting, I think. And then one thing funny is that you can see there are a ton of car brands here. This is called Neo in the background, and there's also one here, and then there's also one here. There's a Leap motor. And so the thing with Chinese, especially electric car brands, is that in a short span of like 4 years, a ton of new brands, they just came up, and then so now it's barely recognizable, and then the cars all look the same, and then they just start sort of it's a race to see who can drive the prices down, and then especially and then go very as like they put very high end sort of specs inside, and then sort of their profit margins just goes low because of the competition, because there's like 20 car brands right now doing the same thing and then trying to drive for the same low cost. And so now the cheapest car you can get, I think, is for 210,000 Chinese yuan, which is the equivalent of 30k US dollars, I think. Yeah, it's relatively cheap now, and especially with the specs you get. It's like 0 to 100 in 1.8 seconds, and then for that kind of price, it's like right now everyone's competing for the better specs and a lower price, which is good for the consumer, but bad for the brand. And there's also there are restaurants, and then there's also some that sell bikes, and then of course some that sell cars in the back there, and then yeah. And this polar bear, and then what they're holding, this is called the Arctic Ocean. It's a Chinese soda, and it's most famous for its orange flavor, and then I like it quite a lot. It's got the sort of the kick of like Coca-Cola, but the orange taste is very nice. And then they have these usually you buy this in like retail stores, like in supermarkets or like Chinese 7-Elevens, but they also sometimes have these official stores, and then where they sell other peripheral items like ice cream, and then also these sundaes or as like cold drinks. I think I want to try that. Okay, that's nice. I mean, maybe you could get it in the US, or maybe Amazon, like cross country shipping. I don't know. We could see. Oh yeah, and then the Chinese translation of the Arctic Ocean is as beijing, which is like Bei is north, and then Bing is ice, and then Yang is like ocean. So, but in general, the general context of this is like the Arctic Ocean, because it's like Bei, it's like sort of the ocean of the North ice, which is like the North ice is the North Pole. So, and then which is the Arctic, and so that's how this came to be. Okay, and then this they also is they took this from I don't know where, but they made it into these are Chinese architecture sort of roof designs, but this is the character depicted here is called Sun Wukong, which is also known as the Monkey King, and then so is the main character in the Chinese classical mythological novel known as Journey to the West. And then born from a celestial stone formed at the creation of the world. His birthplace is Huaguo Mountain, which is like the mountain of fruits and flowers in the eastern continent. And he was honored as the handsome monkey king after leading a group of monkeys into the water curtain cave. And so it's a secret cave, and then it's very comfortable for the monkeys. This is all like the lore inside of the book. And then to learn skills, he crossed oceans to apprentice under the patriarch Xu Puti, and then which is a magical person, who named him Sun Wukong, and he mastered powerful magical arts such as the Great Immortal Spell, 72 transformations, and the Somersault Cloud. So he could transform into many forms, and then also the cloud is like it's like a cloud he could just flip, and then he would ride on the cloud, and then the cloud can go super fast. It's like if Sun Wukong was here in the modern day, he wouldn't need to buy an airplane ticket. He could just fly around. And so this is his weapon of choice. This is called as like a stick, but the stick is like it's called the Dinghai Shenzhen, which is like the mythical pin that settles the oceans. And so it can go as tiny as a strand of hair, or as big as a sort of reaching to the skies, or maybe even space. So this is his weapon of choice, in the lore, of course. And they built this sort of platform. You can see the entire park from this platform. Industrialized Monkey King. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a more sort of literal way of saying it. But I mean, you could say they're playing as like they're paying tribute to the original lore with something modern. But that's fair. And the day I was filming this is like most people were still at school, and so it's a very tranquil place during the weekdays, and especially not during the summer break. But now I think it's quite populated because everyone's looking for places to go during the summer break, and this is quite an interesting spot. This is the sort of the work ethic, work model for the shogun. It's like it says, 敢于苦干硬干, which is dare to work hard and work rigorously and work hard. And then it says, 敢担当敢创新, which is dare to take responsibility and then dare to innovate. And then it says, dare to sort of put the people's sort of rights and then their rights and their priorities before themselves. And so this is the model, and this is dare to persevere. And then I can't see this clearly. It's like, but it's the same as these. Very sort of very. You got the fighting feeling. Yeah. Oh, hello. Wait, did I disconnect? Maybe I did. Oh, I disconnected. Oh no. Okay, I don't know where you guys saw until. Do you guys see the words written here, or like? Not yet. Okay, let's do it again, and then so. Yeah, this Wi-Fi thing is very questionable. I think I have to make a solution to that because this is annoying. Or so, as originally said, this is the sort of work ethic, the work model of the shogun, and so these are sort of their slogans. And then it says, sort of like the gan is like the dare, or like not afraid to work hard and work rigorously, and there's also dare to, or like ready to persevere, and then dare to sort of put the priorities of the people in front of them, which is like serving the people, which is the slogan of the Chinese Communist Party, and then dare to take responsibility, and then dare to innovate. So that's the slogan written on here. Original cooling towers. Okay, nice. This is the international sort of exhibition center, and so they also, I think they built this on top of what is already there, which is beside this very famous furnace. Yep, I think I disconnected again. I think I disconnected again. Alright, let me send it. Okay, I think I disconnected again, so I'm refreshing to see. I think it should be fine now. I don't know what part I disconnected, but I think so. This is the International Exhibition Center, and they built this sort of next to the very famous furnace here, right there. Okay. The sound, I think, is either the construction, and because in the background they were doing sort of a music festival, so they're testing the microphones, and so I think that's where the sound came from. And this is a pop mart, and then so this is specifically called the Space Molly, and then so you can see the space helmet, and then this character is called Molly, and then I don't know how the pop mart craze in the US is, but it's reaching ahead in both China and then some places like Australia and then Thailand, maybe Malaysia and Singapore, and then but this is a Central European Art Festival. Okay, oh, that's nice to know. But I mean, yeah, they were doing rehearsals in the background there, but this is a pop mart, and then so as I said last time, but this is a hot take. It's like this is a glorified gambling thing, because everyone's buying these blind boxes and then they're seeing what they're gonna get which is basically like gambling, and there's also risk and then money involved. So this is gambling, I think. This is a bookstore, and originally you could enter through here, and you could see all the insides of this sort of furnace. But now they, because this is, I think inside is renovation, so you have to go around the outside, and then but if you go inside, and then the space is like is reduced, so you cannot see the insides as well as originally. You can see some more train stuff here. Trains. And it also takes the modern spin, and the pandas are doing skateboards and they're riding scooters, and this is cute. And this is the souvenir shop, and then you can see the robot, and then this is I love, and then SG is like the Chinese initials of Shougang, which is this place. And so this is the souvenir shop. Oh yeah, like the I love and white. Yes, I agree. Yeah, you can hear the singing in the background. And then one more stylized Starbucks here. And so this is beside the lake, which is quite a famous place in Shougang. And then there's also the dragon heads where they can spit out water. But I didn't film it, but I have a picture that I'm gonna show later of that. Oh yeah, the red light. I think I'm gonna defend myself with this. I didn't run the red. I mean, practically there's no cars on the road there. I mean, when I went on the road, it was a sort of half. It's like a green but almost yellow, and I underestimated the time I would take to get across from here to here, and so it sort of was a half ran a red light, which is a not necessarily a crime, but not the best thing. Okay, that's the end of the video, and here are some pictures of the Shougang in the night. These are the silver covers, and then the degree of wear and tear is different. And the characters below are different as well. This is like belief or it's like trust, and then this is wu means dirty, or like this is basically it symbolizes that this underneath this is the dirty water, and then at night this is like this. And the dragon heads are here, and you can see the little sort of this tube is like it can spit water out if the water is maybe overflowing, and then yeah. This was taken quite a while ago. This is 2019, and then by the time the Winter Olympics was already sort of confirmed for Beijing, so and then the committee moved here as well. So here it is, the old sort of committee. Okay, and then the bridge at the time. Oh, and then the bridge changes colors as well. There's purple, orange, and blue. And this is quite common in China. This sort of you could play. I mean, also in Southeast Asia as well. You could play with the water like this. And then when I was young, I loved to play with this stuff. But I mean, nobody really cared if it was like recycled water, because it was a cycle, and then the water can get quite dirty. It's just the fun part of it. And then I think that's it for this stream. I don't know, quite a short one though, 1 hour and 8 minutes. But thanks for showing up, and then have a great evening. Okay, bye bye. That's the end of the stream. Short but very enjoyable. Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, bye bye.